Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel we'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 for a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategy called compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades. We do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for as little as $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In the previous video we looked at MMTLP and the focus was on looking at reasons why it was halted, and in today's video we're going to be following on with an update from the previous video with some additional clarifications, and the focus of today's video is going to be looking at a potential grey market solution. So stay tuned for that. We're also going to be doing a quick update on ticker MULN Mullen Automotive. So let's first of all have a look at some news that's going on in the markets, and this is concerning Mr. Sam Bankman-Fried, which I'm sure you're all aware about, and he is alleged to have swindled approximately $8 billion in customer money according to federal prosecutors. So it looks like there are other significant victims of fraud, so why does that not sound like a significant surprise to us? So hopefully there is justice there for people who are victims of Sam Bankman-Fried. So with regard to MMTLP, I think we would also like a similar form of justice where people who have committed crimes are also dealt with. Before we make a start on looking at some updates from previous video, let's have a look at what's happening with regard to current developments. So shout out here to Edward, and he's reported in his posted here with regard to Ari Rubenstein, who I'm sure we all know about. It looks to be here, investigation is suddenly removed from the Curtis Law website. So if you remember in one of my previous videos, this is something that I shared with you, that Curtis Law website were asking for people to share with them evidence regarding Ari Rubenstein, as he has been subject to allegations in the past, and for some reason now it looks like Curtis Law are no longer dealing with that side of the situation. And coincidentally we can also see that what Edward is sharing is that Mr. Ari Rubenstein has been donating to Congress, and he's also shared some proof there. And I think I agree with what Edward was saying, is we can now leave this up to everybody's own interpretation. So the system is certainly not easy to deal with. The system, some people will say, is corrupt. But in other developments here, shout out to one of the Discord members who's contacted me by email, and he's updating with regard to the SEC. So he said he's got a call from Tony, who is an SEC investor advocate, earlier today. They need to work on this weekend to call MMTLP investors who called and left a message, and she highly recommends us to file complaints both with the SEC and FINRA. So this is somebody from the SEC saying complain about us. So Tony informed the member here to keep the complaint numbers as well. So keep a copy of your complaint numbers, and obviously it seems to be that they are aware of that. So let's follow that on with another shout out here to Don Giovanni. I hope Don is not a member of any organization, but Don Giovanni here is saying, well, I hope you are correct, this sucks. By the way, he also got a call from the SEC advising to complain to the Department of Justice, as well as an additional petition to the SEC. So assured me that the SEC is on top of it. Moreover, the lady advised me to file a complaint with FINRA as well. So we are getting information here that the SEC and FINRA are certainly getting the message. So let's have a quick update from the previous video, and if you have a look at the screen here, one of the things I identified is the FINRA's justification for stopping the trading for the last 2 days for OTC, and what they stated here was justification for 644 old trading and quotation halt in OTC securities, Section A, Part 3. So they were focusing on this area here at the bottom, saying that extraordinary event has occurred or is ongoing that has a material effect on the market, causing a potential with the potential to cause major disruption to the marketplace. So that's what I think they were worried about. And in terms of why, So shout out here to Paul, and what Paul has stated here is in his calculation, which I think I agree with, and I think almost every single investor agrees with, is he is saying that we want $1,000 per share. But in terms of the calculation, that is going to cost the hedge funds and the brokers, we're looking at in excess of $334 billion. So obviously that is an ideal scenario, that is an ideal situation. But one of the things that I stated in the previous video is, although that is what we want and that is what would be justice, the reality of the situation is, what I'm saying is they will be looking for a compromise. They are not going to give us, in my opinion, $1,000 a share. But from my point of view, I think that would be justice. So that's what certainly should happen. But do I think that is what will happen? Yeah, the answer is no. I don't think that will happen. I don't think we're going to get $1,000 a share. Should we fight for $1,000 a share? Yes, we should. And the reason why I don't think we're going to get $1,000 a share, because the system is corrupt from the SEC, DTCC, FINRA to the top. There is a problem. So we now have a fight on our hands. So the other thing that caused confusion in the previous video was some of the calculations. So it wasn't a case that the whales are going to get $500 and everybody else gets lower. So that was based on the whales who declared that their sell limit orders are 500. So if we recalculate my cost here with everybody getting the same, so if we go for a figure half of Paul's, so if we go with half of Paul's, we're looking at $500, $500, $500 for all of the 168 million shares. That comes to 84 billion plus the cost of synthetics, and we're probably looking at a figure half of Paul's. So that's still going to be maybe $160 billion. So are they going to cough up this money that is due? The answer is, in my opinion, no. But should it happen? Yes. So I'll share with you a tweet that I posted here. What I've said is, when retail investors, we take the risk of losing 100% of our investment. When short sellers invest, or their risk is unlimited or infinite. And the SEC says that short sellers should incur this loss. Will the SEC and will FINRA look at this? Will they apply the rule of law? In my opinion, they're not going to apply the rule of law as we would like them to, but they will certainly be looking for a compromise. And in today's video, one of the things I'm going to be looking at is potential grey market solution. Before we look at the potential grey market solution, what I'd first of all like to do is just clarify with regard to grey market what it is in terms of definitions and how it works. So if we have a look at the screen here, what is a grey market? A grey market is an unofficial market for financial securities, grey or G-R-A-Y or G-R-E-Y. The market generally occurs when the stock has been suspended from trades off the market. So we know MMTLP was suspended, so this is a potential alternative. So the grey market enables the issuer and the underwriter to gauge demands for a new offering because it is when issued market trade securities that will be offered in the near future. So the key thing to be aware with regards to the grey market is unofficial, but it is not illegal. So in terms of it not being illegal, what that basically means is FINRA will probably turn a kind of a blind eye to it and not kind of say too much about it. So next thing here, how to trade grey market stocks. So these are traded over the counter on the OTC, so not on any major platforms such as the NASDAQ or NYSE. So it will be on the OTC, means that they are not offered by a stock exchange, but only by brokers and trading providers. So that's how it's going to be operating. When it comes to settling your trade, this can be done once the official trading of the shares has begun, and many brokers will offer this, so you will have to contact them about this. And in terms of the key features, obviously here it offers, in terms of the grey market, it is unofficial, but it also has a little bit more risk. So let's now focus on how the grey market with regard to MMTLP could be a solution. So now I'd like to give a shout out to Kit, who has provided an excellent insight into how grey markets operate, as well as some insights into potential solution for the MMTLP situation. So in his post here, what Kit has said is please look into real-time corruption. FINRA over the last few weeks are looking at a potential bigger situation than the FTX situation, so I certainly agree with him there. We've got political donors, bad actors, and all seem to be linked. FINRA used the code U3 to protect the hedge funds and not innocent investors. So this is something I agree with, and I also covered in the previous video. But let's now have a look at some of the solutions, potential solutions from the grey market, inspired by obviously Kit and what he stated in one of the chats. So first of all, quick reminder, grey market is less regulated. FINRA will going to turn a blind eye, and it will only allow people to sell. So such sales could be by calls. And again, if you remember Tony from Market Moves, he stated that this could be taking place. But due to the amount of people holding MMTLP, I think we're looking at in excess of 64,000. It could also happen on the app, and NDAs are certainly highly likely as well. So why is this going to happen? One of the reasons why it could be allowed to happen is we've got FINRA on the line, we've got the SEC on the line, we've got the DTCC, and as well as that, more importantly, we've got the brokers. So if there is such a situation where, let's say, some of the politicians are higher up, they have to investigate. So any forensic check of data at FINRA, the SEC and brokers is going to be the only way to find out what's the situation with synthetic shares, how many shorts have not covered, what are the irregularities taking place, and the whole situation with regard to naked shorting, etc. And that it could certainly lead to jail time for people who may be culpable in that situation. So that's something I think that the authorities are certainly wanting to avoid. So by having a grey market, we will never see that final green candle. That green candle could have given us the 4-figure price. We don't know what it is, but we were certainly expecting that if it was fair and honest, close to the market with the 2 days. But what we saw was on the last day prior to the close, heavy shorting and huge amount of synthetic shares because nobody was selling. So on the downside, there is very little time left for the process of grey market, and the reason for that is because obviously AST, any shares that go through and complete the AST process are not going to be able to be traded on the grey market. And then the second part of the grey market solution at the start, if this happens, and it'll have to happen very quick, at the start is going to be a situation where we could see very, very low volume. And the reason why we could see low volume is investors like ourselves, we will not want to sell for low prices. The brokers will wait and see. So there's not going to be much volume. They're going to have a look and see, is anybody tempted by, you know, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30. So they're going to see. So there will be low volume. But what that will indicate is if that market opens up, it basically means that the hedge funds, the brokers, are going to be under huge pressure to buy and close. So if it does open up, we do expect the volume to increase, and we do expect them to have huge pressure to close. So it'll be a case of everybody holding the nerve. So brokers, FINRA, the SEC, if they do not resolve this situation, then in my opinion, I agree with Kit here, saying it has got the potential to be bigger than the FTX situation. It could be a historic case. We could have a lot more Bernie Madoffs in jail, not just one. And it certainly is in the authorities' interest to fix this, because we are all complaining. But what I think is the biggest problem, we are all facing a wall of silence. So nobody's responding, I think, with anything significant. It's just some acknowledgements, but nothing substantial. So the other thing to bear in mind with regard to the grey market, there is no shorting in the grey market. There is going to be no buy button, and it will just be sell to reconcile. So the decision is over to you and me and everybody else. If this happens, set your sell limits high, make them pay. Finally, I'd like to finish off by sharing some news with regard to MULN Mullen Automotive. This is a stock that has been featured on a number of occasions on the channel, and I think this is another prime example of a stock that has been heavily manipulated, massively shorted, and it is just a few days ago it was trading around about the 20 cents. I think it is now trading close to 30 cents, but let's have a look at the news. So headline here, December the 15th, you see the headline, MULN Automotive receives purchase order from Randy Marion Automotive Group for 6,000 Class 1 EV cargo vans. So just think about that. You've got companies like Fisker that are not even into production. You've got companies like MULN Automotive trading at around about 30 cents. So the transaction value is approximately $200 million. Deliveries are going to be commencing in the first quarter of 2023, so it's not a long time away, and this is tremendous news, and this is also something that is going to certainly put the company on a different level. So we can see here Randy Marion, the CEO and founder of RMA, has said, "We see this as a tremendous opportunity with the MULN commercial portfolio and the launch of commercial vans, and we could not be happening at a better time." So great news there. But in other news with regard to MULN, we can see here another date for your diary, which is December the 20th, so not too far away, and that's going to be looking at delivery and shipment of iGo December the 20th, so keep that in mind. The company has said the vehicle is already certified for sale in the United Kingdom, Germany, Spain, France and Ireland, and many of the Chinese EV makers are nowhere near covering countries such as these, especially the United Kingdom. MULN stock, and we know it is down approximately 95% on the year, so not great news. And finally, the other thing with MULN, other good news coming as well, the stock charges up on the Loop EV deal. So this is another deal with regard to EV charging, and it's going to offer up to £300 million through its Loop as a service. So if we look at this, catalysts are coming, the deals are there, but it's trading close to 30 cents. So if the problem with regard to shorting is fixed and the government and the authorities do something about that, then MULN Automotive, if it doesn't get shorted, it trades at its true real value. That will give a huge boost to the company, huge boost to many other businesses, and obviously create jobs, create success, and also long term give more benefits to the economy and the government, especially with regard to tax and economic growth, and obviously improved living standards. So certainly is in the interest of everyone for shorting not to happen. So finally, if anybody would like to get a copy of our weekly watch list, you can certainly join us in our Discord for little as $9 a month. Information available in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.